An Insurance Centre, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And by JGP Janitorial, lose the mop, they'll clean the slop. JGP Janitorial, 548-1221.
And now, Radio K-Man presents The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Radio K-Man's Business Buzz. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, everybody. It's a happy, rainy Tuesday morning. We know we're getting another system just like last week. A little bit later than last week when it hit, but we're getting another system, and I guess we can say it started. So we know what we have to look forward to. A couple more rainy, wet days, and it's always on the days I play pickleball. So the weather needs to work with me here. I don't know what's going on, but I hope everybody's having a safe drive into work and into the schools today. And this morning, I'm very excited to say that I've got with me in this first segment from the Cayman Islands Marketing Professionals Association, the chair of the board. We have Miss Holly Whitelock in this morning. How are you doing, Holly?
Good morning, Kathy, and good morning, Radio Cayman listeners. I hope you're all having a safe drive in, or even better yet, just still in bed listening.
Yes, definitely. Or maybe working from home.
That's what working from home, about to get into the home office. Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yes. We clearly wish we were just tucked in our beds nice and cozy and warm. Right?
Exactly. But happy to be here as well, always.
Well, we're here to serve. We're talking about,
well, that's for sure.
We're talking about CIMPA's 11th annual marketing conference and their 9th annual awards gala. It's under the theme Icons and Innovators. It takes place Friday, October 11th and Saturday, October 12th at Hotel Indigo. It's a 2-day event. It encompasses a full day kind of retreat style conference and awards gala, which celebrates the trailblazers in business, branding, marketing, and service.
Yes. We're on that 10-day countdown today as of October 1st. So happy October, everyone.
Right. It is.
So yeah, it is the 10 days leading up. And of course, we're all watching the weather, but I think we'll be good for that day. But we will be staying tuned and keeping everyone posted. But we are super excited to be hosting this 11th annual gala on the 11th. Oh, wow.
The conference is
conference,
yeah.
The 11th.
It's coming really soon.
Conference, yeah.
So for people who don't know what CIMPA is, what it's about, can you give us a brief summary?
Sure. CIMPA is the Cayman Islands Marketing Professionals Association, which encompasses a wide variety of professions. That's why it's the Marketing Professionals Association, because you have everybody in the creative fields, such as graphic designers, digital designers, and you also have entrepreneurs that are a part of the Cayman Islands Marketing Professionals Association, marketers, communicators, in just any business. We've talked about this before. Every single business requires marketing. Every industry requires marketing, communications, public relations. And so we're here to help shape the future of marketing in the Cayman Islands. We are a nonprofit organization, and we are a member-based organization. So our board is completely volunteer. There's actually no paid staff for CIMPA at this time, and that's something that we're looking to potentially grow, because while all of our board of directors are very passionate and dedicated, we'd like to see the organization really grow to that next level and have an operations manager or an admin manager, something like that. So we are continuing to partner with stakeholders. We have quite a bit of support, as we can see with our conference coming up. We have some big sponsors like UCCI that we're partnering with. We have the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Culture. We also have Reflections coming on. So I'm just giving you a little idea of how CIMPA works as a nonprofit, as a member-based organization, and how we partner with the stakeholders and businesses, members, of all ages and backgrounds, from nonprofits to corporations. And we get the word out there about how these businesses are making a positive difference in the Cayman Islands, because that basically is today what an icon and innovator is. And that's what we're celebrating with this conference. I believe that you really can't be a successful business nowadays if you're not making a positive impact in some way, and telling that story through your brand and how you advertise your business.
Right, and how you operate and whatnot.
And how you operate, more even importantly, yeah.
It's really all a testament to your brand in the end there.
Exactly.
Okay, so how long have you been involved in CIMPA? What is your role? Well, I said you were chair, but if you could describe what that role is.
Sure. So I was voted in December 2022, so that we're going on 2 years that I've been in a leadership role with CIMPA. Originally, I was a member of CIMPA for many years, and I've gone to many past conferences and awards galas, and I always admired the hard work that went into it. I always just had a great time at the events and learned so much and got so much value from them. And usually your employer will pay for it because there is that value where you're learning, you're doing workshops, you're networking. And so if you're listening now and your employer wants to, or if you want to attend, that's something that you can ask your employer. And I had the privilege of attending and being a member through businesses that I worked with in the past. And so a few years ago at a conference, I just started volunteering for everything excitedly. I was so inspired by the conference. It was how marketing can make the world a better place. And I've always remember a book called Sustainable Marketing, how to turn profits into a purpose, I believe is the subtitle. But it says there's no one better position to make a positive difference and affect change in the world than a well-educated, passionate marketer, communicator. And so, like I said, I just started volunteering for everything. And it was almost like I was campaigning for a chair, but I didn't even see that yet coming. And then a few months later, when the opportunity arose to come on the board, then I was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's perfect. Didn't think about it before, but I do want to be involved. I do want to give back. And I think, Kathy, you can agree with me and say that most of what we do is all about this shaping the future of marketing. And in that, looking at the youth, working with the next generation, making sure,
we're upskilled.
We're upskilled, of course, but also in upskilling us, we're also, passing that down to the next generation, because digital marketing is a very on-demand job in the Cayman Islands and around the world. And a lot of young people don't, I went to one of the schools recently and kind of did one of those hand raising if you're interested in marketing. And it wasn't the most, it wasn't everyone raising their hands, And I think not that we need everyone to raise their hands, because we need people in all industries. We need young people to support and to go into work into every industry from trades to, I was going to say blue collar, from trades to, professions like this, to marketing. But I think if they knew all the opportunities, how much maybe money you could make in certain roles, and also just how rewarding it can be as far as the creative side, if you're a creative person or
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the realm of marketing has opened up so much. So what we would look at as kind of traditional roles in marketing, that has opened up so much. And it's right now there's a really big focus on, there's a term, it's called creator economy. Really, really big focus on that. And that, for people who are listening, might not know what this is. It is the creators out there on social media. So you might be following a social media account, and let's say it's a travel one, and they're constantly traveling. They're showing the hotel, the food, the restaurants in the area, whatever. That it's an account that focuses on that, but they're creating content specifically for travel. And they end up getting endorsed. They end up getting kind of brand deals, influencer deals. But I guess they're not really called influencers as much anymore. They're now being, that term is kind of turning to creators. And we understand that there's young kids in elementary school making millions of dollars a year with a YouTube channel, talking about their toys or playing video games online or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting how marketing has kind of transformed in the digital realm. And this conference gives us the opportunity to be able to show how it's developing, how people can kind of get on board and understand kind of the new landscape of marketing. And that's what I really appreciate about CIMPA. So a lot of people don't know who are listening that I am the vice chair. I joined just about a year ago unofficially, and then February at our AGM came on board officially as vice chair. So I definitely see the benefit that CIMPA offers the community in regards to the marketing training. So when you said that we are looking to kind of train current marketers, upskill the marketers that are like you and I right now, and then also train the future marketers and kind of get them in terms with the best new practices and trends. I'm always going to go back to our first training of 2024 when it was the art of the Chat GPT prompt. And that training was packed. We almost were over the limit in the room. And it was amazing how many people wanted to just kind of understand what a prompt is in ChatGPT and how it can help you get a lot better results when whatever you're trying to create within ChatGPT, which is an AI tool for a lot of people out there who might not know what ChatGPT is yet. But just look that up if you don't, because you should, and you should be using it by now. If you're not, you're very, very far behind, right?
Yeah, and it goes along with the idea of innovate to impact.
Yes.
And sometimes people will see, and of course, you with anything in life, there's a certain level of extremes that could be some type of harmful and things we need to be looking at with AI. I think we do need some protocols in place, as they say. But
Yes.
just for everyone's protection, privacy, security, as it's always important. But I think that ChatGPT is allowing people to create an impact, a positive impact on the world, and that is what CIMPA is. In a way, for instance, I'll give you an example. There is a national disaster, for instance, and you need to get a press release out. You need to get out PSAs. You need to get out a whole plan to deal with this.
Communicate with the public.
Communicate with the public, communications plan, and that's something. Some people have a problem with this, but it still takes expertise to know what, like you said, the prompt to put into ChatGPT. But you can put these questions into ChatGPT. Please create a communications plan. I always say please and thank you to
Yes.
Chatty. I call her Chatty. I'm like, please, Chatty, this morning, and you work with that. And that's not the finished product. Then you take that and you refine
Right.
what
they give you.
ChatGPT gives you. But think about, that could save lives, right? In a national disaster, right? That you're getting out this communications plan and you're getting it out as something that might take 2 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours before is now taking 20 minutes, 5 minutes in some cases, if it's super urgent. But I think those are ways that, and in that conference, I think like you made a good point, Kathy, that every CIMPA conference is like the cutting edge and the next,
absolutely.
every year. And like what you're talking about, the creator economy, that is exactly, one of the next things. And how you can stand out as a creator, how you can make money as a creator. I think
We're going to touch on that. We got to go to a commercial break
Okay.
right now, but we're going to touch on that because we're going to introduce who some of those speakers are for that conference right when we come back from the break.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
The 1980s offered a decade of monumental progress as the Cayman Islands built upon its previous few decades of prosperity. In 1985, government consolidated the hotel, marine, trade and building, and evening schools into the community college. In 1986, marine parks were established in the waters off Grand Cayman in March and in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman in May. By 1987, the National Trust for the Cayman Islands Law is passed and the trust began. In 1988, there was a close call for Grand Cayman as the eye of Hurricane Gilbert passes 30 miles south of Grand Cayman, causing $16.5 million CI dollars in damage. Also in 1987, the Water Authority's West Bay Road sewage system began working. By 1989, the census reported the population of the Cayman Islands at 25,355, a 150% increase on the 1970 population statistics. The CI Postal Service also celebrated 100 years of service.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Centre.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Centre.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Centre.
Call today.
When it comes to keeping the office spotless, we rely on JGP Janitorial. With over 20 years of experience in office and business cleaning, they understand what it takes to maintain a professional environment.
Reliable, efficient, and priced right. GJP Janitorial is the smart choice for any business. For a free quote, call GJP Janitorial 548-1221. GJP Janitorial. Lose the mop. They'll clean the slop. That's 548-1221. Keep your business shining.
I am in the studio with Darrell Dakers, owner of Health for Today. Many will remember him as Cayman's native son, a name given to Darrell during his extensive musical career. So Darrell, tell us about the exciting news that we're hearing about Health for Today.
I'm also a health counselor, and Health for Today is not just another supplement, skincare, and nutritional company. We offer some of the finest supplements and skincare products in the world. And by the way, we don't just sell vitamins, we sell vitamins and minerals together to obtain success in your health. Vitamins by themselves is like baking a cake, putting in salt and no sugar. We also support you with a new lifestyle change. And some of our supplements are researched throughout the world more than any other supplements. Our joy is helping people.
Wow, this sounds very exciting, Darrell. How do we contact you?
Contact 928-1503 or visit Health for Today, and that is healthfortoday@.ky. HEALTHFORTODAY.ky.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and in studio from the Cayman Islands Marketing Professionals Association, we have Chair Holly Whitelock, and we are discussing the upcoming conference under the theme Icons and Innovators. It's a conference and a gala, and that's being held Friday, October 11th and Saturday, October 12th at Hotel Indigo. All right before the break, I had just touched on how the marketing landscape is totally evolving. It's always evolving, right? And that's how you know it's always going to be around. But it's evolving, and there's a huge focus on a creator economy, per se. And kind of diving in a little bit into that and a little bit of brand positioning, especially online, we have some really amazing speakers. And the first one that we're going to be talking about right now is Simone Jackson. I'm going to let you introduce the rest of Simone, tell the people what she's about, but I'm super excited about this one. So let us know who Simone is.
Sure. So a lot of you have heard of Forbes, and Simone was an honored recipient of the 2024 Forbes 30 Under 30 in Marketing and Advertising. So that's actually
Holly, way more. She's a Forbes
30. You know what?
30 recipient. That's huge.
We're gonna be like so hyped. We're flying her out. She's getting flued out from DC. She's super excited. That's how we found her, is through the Forbes 30 Under 30 list. And actually, we're looking. This is something CIMPA is looking to do. Maybe partner with Forbes in the future for something here in Cayman. Maybe the 25 Under 25 next year. No, we're doing. We got to wait till 45 to do that one. But yeah. So we saw her. We immediately was interested in bringing her here as the global brand manager at Spotify. So everyone knows Spotify and the the brand, whether they have it on their phone as an app. Simone leads the global marketing initiatives there, and she propels the brand forward with campaigns like Spotify Wrapped and spearheading brand plans for future forward partnerships and collaborations. And that's a lot of the creator economy stuff, influencer marketing. But yeah, they like one of the biggest collaborations or partnerships that they did recently was with Roblox. And as a boy mom, I mean, Roblox is a staple brand, quote, the kids have the shirts, they want the Roblox money, they want to play the games, they're talking about them with their friends. There's even a language that goes along, now that this next generation has a whole new language. So Spotify is obviously looking at the youth and partnering with them, but also it's something for they have something for everyone as far as music.
That makes sense, because in the music world, they say a majority of the music that is produced, especially like in the pop charts, hip hop, it's actually for people quite young, like teenagers to 18, 19. And then they don't really focus on anybody older than that. And I'm like, what? So they're like the major kind of consumers and the buyers and the streamers of music. And that blew me away, because I'm like, I feel like I'm 20 times 2 over here.
Yes, we feel important. Cater to us.
Cater to us.
But that's why we're listening. So we're like, Alexa, play the best of the 90s.
It's a good alignment for them with Roblox. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was really, and I think she, being under 30 herself, probably has that edge in her, pulse for the youth, and she's looking at different ways to partner with different organizations. She's also a proud graduate of Elon University in North Carolina, and she's passionate about fitness, wellness, and creative media. So she's traveled all over. She's worked in several advertising agencies, including in New York City and Portland, Oregon, and now she's coming to the CIMPA conference. I had a Zoom call with her. She, like I said, she's very excited. She's going to be talking about the labels we choose, fandoms, and communities of culture. How self-identifying groups with like-minded interests and passions will continue to be the future of branding, unlocking the ability to build brand loyalty and storytelling.
I hope that's not the title, because that's really long.
No, that's right. No, just the labels we choose.
Okay.
Dun. Yes, no, but I went on to speak a little bit about the topic, and I think that's actually really relevant for Cayman. You have different, what they quote, fandoms, whether they're following an online page and commenting, or have a community of culture. Like, for instance, Women of Cayman. That's a community that we have here that's online, where people go to speak about everything. And it has a lot of influence. So I think it's about connecting with them. And the labels we choose, interesting, there was a time when we were Women of Cayman, then we were Women in Cayman.
Right.
And so those labels are important, but it's...
Or the community that they build online, because I think in her bio, she gives an example of Beyonce, and everybody out there has to know who Beyonce is. If you don't, you need to know who Beyonce is.
Yes.
But online, if there's any negative news story about Beyonce, which you rarely ever see, but if there's anything, there's something called her Beehive. So it's about those online communities and how they also just kind of contribute to your brand and to
protect each other and come together, and there's power in numbers for sure,
and the little ecosystem that it is. So I think that's going to be such an interesting talk. And Spotify, is such a huge brand. I've been very jealous of the Spotify Wrapped campaign because I'm an Apple Music subscriber, and we don't get that with Apple Music. And so I was very jealous of all the people seeing, okay, this is how many hours I was here, and who I spent the most time with, and the artists, and just kind of gives you a description of you and the music you like and the suggestions. I really, really like that about Spotify Wrapped. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, it makes the experience personal, and that's what brands need to do. They need to tell stories, connect with these audiences, create that community, and then find ways to keep the community engaged and involved, such as what you're talking about with.
We only got a couple minutes, so I just want to touch on, I know that we also have Trip Donnelly from The Compass. He's the publisher as well with The Compass, and he has a huge background, including working in the media and communications office at the White House. He was an Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. This is back in the States. I don't know the year for that.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a company called REQ, which was a digital marketing company, won several awards for that. He's got a really huge journey behind him that he's going to be sharing with, and especially the transformation from traditional media to digital, and now he's with publisher of The Compass. Now he's kind of holding both in his hands, and it's being able to marry both kind of medias together in that sense, which I'm excited to hear from him. We have Kaymanian Ted Green to talk about Ted Green fragrances, so I'm very excited because that is, he told me, the number 4 selling perfume at Kirk Freeport. That's a huge thing for a product that was born in Cayman.
I love that. I love it when I see it in other countries too, like Panama or different, different retailers. It's definitely a global brand, and he's done a great job locally and internationally, keeping that brand at the level or getting that brand to the level that it was, because I'm sure it took work, and we're gonna hear about that. And he is using that creator community to promote his brand as well. Like, I know he collaborated with Miss Universe Cayman, and a lovely the winner for that year, she was one of the brand ambassadors. So Cayman has a lot of brand ambassadors, and there is and not only what I love, and I don't know if anyone knows this, but I'm an adjunct lecturer at the University College of the Cayman Islands for e-marketing, which is like digital marketing. And one thing that I like to pass down to the students is that you can make money today. You can start making money today, especially in this, and you can be your own boss if you want, or you can make money in addition to having a 9-to-5. And I think that it doesn't just provide money, it provides freedom, and it provides opportunity. And when I say freedom, I mean a freedom to live the life that you want to live. And I think that's so important today in today's world, to love what you do, to have that balance, and to be able to do what you love and make money doing it. So that's one thing I like to.
We gotta wrap up here, Holly.
Sure.
I'm going to leave the listeners with one more name. The ink has not yet dried, but we're pretty sure it's going to. We've been working out a deal to have Caymanian creator. Her name is Alyssa Chin. She has huge deals with international brands from Target and Sephora. If you have to know who those brands are. There's so many more brands out there. She's a creator who has exactly doing what you're doing. She's living the life she wants by being able to do brand partnerships and just creating content online. And we're going to be hearing from her about, as an influencer creator, how she works with agencies and then directly with the brands. And there's nobody doing it bigger in the Cayman Islands. I almost want to reach and say the Caribbean than Alyssa's doing, but maybe that's a bit of a reach. But she's doing a great thing. So Alyssa Chin,
we find her on Instagram.
Yes, I think it's look
it up.
Life with, I forget, but anyways, but she's in there.
And we have Carlos Andres Gomez coming from New York City as well.
We got to go to the news, so I'm wrapping up right now. We also have Carlos. Please go to CIMPA.ky, where you can see a list of our speakers. You can get tickets for the conference and the gala. We didn't even talk about the gala. We got to go to the 8 a.m. news. I'm a little late, so I got to end it now. But CIMPA.ky for your tickets, and email info@CIMPA.ky if you're looking to reserve a table for the gala as well.
Or be a sponsor. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you, Radio Cayman.
Thank you, Kathy. Studio time now by Foster's is 2 minutes past 8. When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The disorganized group of showers and thunderstorms in the southwestern Caribbean Sea associated with a trough of low pressure is expected to dump even more rain on the Cayman Islands this week. Hazard Management Cayman Islands Director Danny Coleman.
There's still some uncertainty relating to the system in regards to how much rainfall and the system's overall strength. However, we are expecting flooding, particularly in those low-lying areas. And given that the grounds are already saturated, we're advising the public to make the necessary preparations.
Sandbags are available at the Frank Sound Fire Station, West Bay Fire Station, Linford Pearson Roundabout, and the agriculture grounds. And with the rain comes the mozzies. The Mosquito Research and Control Unit is moving swiftly after the recent rains.
As predicted, we are now seeing an increase in mosquito activity around the Cayman Islands, and we are working extremely hard to bring those numbers down as quickly as possible.
That's MRCU's Kevin Watler, who says the Buffalo turbine has been deployed last night and into this morning.
A lot of people have not seen the Buffalo turbine in action. Now, this is a powerful tool that allows us to conduct larviciding in areas where air traffic prevents the use of the aircraft. And the product we use in it is pretty much very similar. It's not going to cause any adverse effects on humans, animals, fish, or vegetation. Our teams are working extremely hard out there to reduce the population as quickly as possible.
You can help out by eliminating standing water on your property. Make sure water isn't collecting in things like toys, flower pots, tarps, tires, or buckets. Cayman honors its diving superstars.
Each of these honorees represent the heart and the soul of the Cayman Islands diving community. Their dedication to sea and to the people who call these islands home have helped the Cayman Islands become a premier destination for divers worldwide. These people are the people who allow us to generate the tourism revenue that we use to take care of our people. Through their efforts, they remind us of the deep responsibility we hold to protect and to preserve our marine environment, not only for now, but for future generations to come.
Minister for Tourism, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, at the International Scuba Diving Hall of Fame induction ceremony and gala dinner this weekend. This year's local honorees include Barbara McDowell, Joanna Makotovitz, and Andrew Ebanks, who are recognized for their contributions to the sport of scuba diving. And with October comes the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens' full month of activities planned in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Every year we try to support at least 500 women with mammogram vouchers. So we do the length and breadth of Grand Cayman, and we also touch Cayman Brac.
Lion Philip Ling tells Radio Cayman the event calendar is set up so that there will be an awareness meeting and a clinic in each district. You can find the full calendar on the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens Facebook page or on our website, radiocayman.gov.ky, under Community Events. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller.
BBC News with Govinda Gill. People living in more than 25 villages in southern Lebanon have been told by Israel to evacuate immediately. Its forces have been carrying out what the military describes as limited raids across the border against Hezbollah. The group says it has fired rockets at Israeli troops as well as missiles towards Tel Aviv. The US Defense Secretary has given his support to his Israeli counterpart for the objectives of the ground incursion into Lebanon, but Turkey has condemned what it called an unlawful invasion attempt. The UN has warned Israel against what it called a large-scale land invasion. The former Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Mark Rutte, has taken over as the head of NATO. He said the alliance must provide the support it had promised to Ukraine. More than 20 school children and their teachers have died in Thailand after the bus they were travelling in caught fire. Some passengers managed to escape. The driver is thought to have fled the scene. MPs in Kenya have started the process of impeaching the country's deputy president. Rigathi Gachagua denies accusations of corruption, playing a role in violent protests and undermining the government. One of the only remaining candidates allowed to run against Tunisia's President Kais Saied in this weekend's election has been sentenced to 12 years in jail. A lawyer for Ayashi Zamo said the case is related to falsifying documents. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
20 years after Hurricane Ivan, our nation has shown incredible resilience. We built homes, restored schools, and strengthened our communities through unity.
We're deeply grateful for the vital support from our global neighbors. Together, we've rebuilt and laid the foundation for a stronger future.
Now, we must embrace a culture of readiness, looking out for one another and preparing for the future. With the continued support of our international allies, we'll ensure our nation remains strong. 20 years after Hurricane Ivan, we are survivors, a thriving, resilient community. Together, we will continue to grow, to support one another, and to ensure that the lessons learned are never forgotten.
For more information on hurricane preparedness and community resilience, visit caymanprepared.ky.
The Praise Ministry Award Show, Cayman Islands edition, will take place on Saturday, November 2nd at the All Nation Ballroom, 23A Woodlake Drive, Georgetown. Red carpet at 6 p.m. Start time 6:30 p.m. Early bird tickets $35 until September 30th. $40 pre-sold and $45 at the door. Get your tickets from Famous Restaurant or call 322-3183. The Praise Ministry Award Show, Cayman Islands edition, Saturday, November 2nd.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcade, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the very latest weather report.
Current temperature is 80 degrees. Relative humidity is 85%. The barometric pressure, 29.88 inches and rising. The wind is southwest at 2 knots. Overnight low temperature was 74 degrees. Synopsis indicate an upper level trough over the northwest Caribbean will support some cloudiness and showers over the Cayman area, which are expected to decrease from late afternoon as the trough moves west of Cayman. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area drifting towards the northwest. The National Hurricane Centre has also marked an area over the northwest Caribbean with a 40% chance of development over the next 7 days. The Cayman Islands National Weather Service will continue to monitor this area for any development. The forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of morning showers and thunder, and temperatures will rise to the low 90s with a heat index near 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Your winds will be southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Forecast for tonight, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of nighttime showers, and temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 8:43, low tide this afternoon at 2:43, and a high tide again tonight at 8:31. The sun will set this evening at 12 minutes past 6 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:17. And the outlook is calling for an increase in cloudiness and showers, along with fresh southeasterly winds and moderate seas expected over the Cayman area from tomorrow morning as an area of low pressure moves across the western Caribbean. That's the very latest on your weather report.
Set to battle, and your Aunt Angie was leading the pack when...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with car damage?
Oh, right. Well, long story long. I took down the assassins and wound up inventing a new form of mixed martial arts. I became an international champion until one sore loser karate kicked my car. But I was covered with CG.
Covered for malicious damage and more. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Brit-K, where people come first.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands, world-class healthcare within your reach.
The 7 a.m. weather update, weekdays on Radio Cayman, is brought to you by RAM Water Tanks. Call 925-3832 to order your water tank. RAM, built to last a lifetime. Radio Cayman. Biggest variety in the morning. Biggest variety.
RC Fusion.
Following the 10 a.m. news headline.
Brought to you by TCE Paint Shop, 27 Godfrey Nixon Way.
RC Fusion.
The Georgetown Farmers Market. It's time you start eating local. The market at the Cricket Grounds.
My Kinda Cleaners. Call or WhatsApp 326-3379 for your free quote today. Biggest variety in the morning. Radio Cayman.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Good morning. Once again, let's take a look this time at traffic. It's ugly out there. If you're coming from the east, expect heavy traffic on Shamrock Road, Rex Crichton Boulevard, also on the Lidford Pearson Highway. Slow-moving traffic on Crew Road heading to Georgetown. Roads are wet, so please drive with extra caution. Remember, visibility low, go slow. As we look to the Esterly Tibbetts Highway, steady bit flow in traffic and continuing on to North Sound Road. Moderate flow of traffic heading towards the Industrial Park area. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue traffic is moderate in both directions. Owen Roberts Drive, light to moderate traffic flow. And coming from the West Bay four-way stop, moderate flow of traffic. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, steady traffic and continuing on to Huldah Avenue. And coming off of the Linford Pearson Highway, traffic is steady on Agnes Way. Slight delays expected. Remember, roads are wet, so please drive with extra care. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
The rich flavors of Italy just arrived at Subway. Say ciao to the Italianos. Our 3 new Subway series recipes, carefully crafted with an Italian flair. Try the Hot Shot Italiano for an enticing and zesty touch. The tastier than ever Ultimate BMT, generously stuffed with a mix of ham, pepperoni, and salami. Or go all in with the creamy chicken bacon Alfredo. New Subway series Italianos. Chef-crafted greatness in every bite. Elevate your game only at Subway. Delizioso.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller. Business Buzz.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and on this segment of the Business Buzz, I'm going to be talking about World Mental Health Day, which is next week, October 10th, actually. But I have in studio with me to discuss this topic Jason Dunkley, who's the clinical supervisor with the Counselling Centre in the Department of Counselling Services. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'd say you had a big stretch right beforehand.
I did, yeah. Getting
Cameras
my
are
game
rolling.
face on.
You're like, now
Let's
I'm ready.
go. Yeah, wake
Let's
up.
go. Game face is on, yes. Yes, mine is on from pretty early. I'd have to say I don't know if I'm game ready, but I try to have the game face on. That's for sure. Well, we are here to talk about World Mental Health Day.
Right.
And the Counselling Centre has an event going on for that as well.
Correct.
But before we go into that stuff, if you want to introduce yourself to people, let us know who Jason is, what your role is with the Counselling Centre.
So, as you said, my name's Jason Dunkley, and I am the clinical supervisor at the Counselling Centre, which is part of the Department of Counselling Services. So my role, I supervise a team of around 13 clinicians. Okay. So we have counsellors and therapists. Okay. And our clinicians provide therapeutic services to anyone in the Cayman Islands. So that's could be individual one-to-one therapy, and we also provide group services as well.
Okay. Is the Counselling Centre, is that a free resource for people?
Absolutely is, yeah.
And for all residents?
Anybody who's got their feet on Caymanian soil can come and take advantage of our services.
Very excellent, because I know that, and you know, that there's a big focus on mental health in the Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of unfortunate incidents over the past few years, a handful of people who've taken their own lives. And so when it comes to mental health and navigating that, it's a field that a lot of people are still in the dark about a little bit. I'd have to say that Radio Cayman, we're really awesome at trying to talk about it a lot.
Agreed.
And take away the stigma about the hush stigma away from it. We really try to make it an open dialogue and conversation. Everybody has some sort of issues or downtimes in their lives.
Absolutely.
Hopefully better and greater times in their lives, but we all go through periods of kind of struggle. So for us, it's important to be able to talk about this and not necessarily normalize feeling really, really, really sad, but to normalize the conversation that, hey, we all go through these kind of periods in life. So I appreciate you coming in to talk about this, because it can be a hard topic sometimes. But you know, it's a lot of good things behind it when we come together and talk, and you never know what's going to happen, the community that gets formed. So
I mean, just in response to some of that, I would, from where I sit, I would actually respectfully challenge some of that in terms of the stigma around mental health and the reluctance of people to address it. That isn't what I see anymore. I've been on the island for around 7 years now.
Okay.
And definitely when I first got here, that was the case. But I've definitely seen a shift, and attitudes are absolutely changing. And that's not just generational. It's, you know, younger people obviously are very comfortable talking about mental health. But it's also the adults as well that I feel are more accepting of coming and asking for help. I mean, and our services would attest to that. We've got, you know, we're very much in demand.
Yeah.
We've got people banging on the door to try and get services, so we're not trying to drum up business at all. So to me, that's just a huge indicator that people do recognise that mental health is something important and are willing to come and get help for it.
Absolutely. I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to know, that you are seeing people using the services, definitely.
Right.
But I still do think there's definitely a bit of a hush component, especially in the Cayman society. And I say that because when it does come to some of the incidents where people do take their lives, we are, and even me right now, I'm so very careful almost not to ever mention their name.
Right.
Or even the fact that maybe that they took their lives. It might be a subject we speak about, but I almost feel that gets a little protected and a little almost not brushed under the rug, but just very, very protected. And for me, it's like, why are we not talking about the elephant in the room that this happened last week?
Right.
And I don't want to say that there should be crazy press coverage, but we're keeping it very hush, and it's affecting all of us.
So I think I'd agree on that end of the scale when you're talking about, people who are dying by suicide. Yeah. That conversation absolutely does need to happen more.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move to our. We're really here for today. I know. Totally segued into a deep thing right there. Sorry, Jason. That's not always how I go. It's usually I'll warm you up into the deeper part of the conversation there, but we got deep right away. So I threw you into the deep end there. Okay, so we are really here to talk about World Mental Health Day and what the Counselling Centre is going to be doing. So let us know what you have planned for that day.
Fantastic. So World Mental Health Day is coming up next week. It's on Thursday, October 10th is the official day, internationally recognised day for World Mental Health. And the theme this year is prioritising mental health in the workplace.
Okay.
We're actually holding our event on Wednesday the 9th, just to avoid clashing with other events that are happening in the island. And we're also running some workshops throughout this week. And that's all. And they're all in keeping theme. So we're going to mental health managers can have staff. And because as I was saying earlier, our individual services are highly in demand.
Okay.
However, on the flip side of that, we do run a lot of group programs. And they're very much underserviced. And with that side of things, there is very much a reluctance to access those services because I feel people are still quite unsure about what group therapy looks like and what it entails. And absolutely, one of the main things is concerns about confidentiality.
Can you break it down then? What is group therapy?
Yeah, so what you'll see when you come to our open house is we offer lots of different options in terms of group therapy, and we offer quite a holistic approach. So we offer yoga group sessions. We offer sound therapy sessions. We offer sessions that address self-esteem specifically. We also offer sessions that address anxiety and depression. We have groups that incorporate art, using art to therapeutic benefits. We have that for adults, and we also have several art groups for young people as well. So what it isn't is just a load of people sitting around in a room drinking bad coffee and telling their deepest, darkest secrets to everyone. It's very much a creative and holistic way to look at your general health and well-being.
Okay. Because when I think of group therapy, I'm glad that you broke it down and explained it, because when I think of group therapy, I'm sure like a lot of people, our minds will switch to the movies or a TV show where you see people in a circle in these really stiff, uncomfortable chairs, and you must
We do have
talk.
Circles, I'm not going to lie, we do have circles.
I hope they're more comfortable chairs and good coffee.
Yeah.
But that's what I think of when I assume group therapy. So.
Exactly. And, it can be done like that, but there's a lot more benefits to trying things a lot more differently. A lot of people don't respond in those kind of environments and those kind of scenarios and don't find it therapeutic at all.
Right.
So it's finding a different way to kind of access the best way to helping yourselves.
So what I found was really interesting is the yoga group sessions and sound therapy. So why both of those, I guess, therapeutic practices that you offer?
So it's really thinking about it in terms of the mind-body connection and how important that is. And that's something that has been overlooked historically, but it's kind of really coming to the fore in terms of the therapy world over the past couple of years, in that if we can regulate our bodies and listen to our bodies, it has a massive positive impact on our psychological mental health. And we can take a lot of cues from our body in terms of what needs to be attended to. Yes. And we can also switch things the other way around. We can also tell our bodies to do certain things, and that will nudge our well-being to go in a much more positive direction as well. So using yoga and sound is a great way to access that.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Okay, I started doing yoga about almost a year ago, like hot yoga once a week. I only went because I was like, okay, I don't stretch when I go to the gym, when I go, which is very inconsistent. So I don't stretch.
Right.
And so, I really, really feel it. All of a sudden, I can't get out of bed. My Achilles heels have just like frozen. So I'm like, I guess I have to stretch. Let me get a really deep stretch. So I thought maybe yoga.
Yep.
I was always a very high impact adrenaline sports, and yoga just drove me nuts because you have to be extremely patient.
Yes.
And it very much is that mind connection.
Absolutely, yeah.
The breathing.
Yes. So I think it's important that with our yoga groups, you're not coming expecting a workout.
Right.
Yeah. You might break a sweat, I'm not going to lie, but that's not the intention. It is about becoming attuned to your body and being mindful.
Yeah.
And listening to your body, and your body will tell you where the tension is. Your body will tell you what needs to relax, and eventually your body will tell you where that tension is coming from. But you have to stop and listen first.
Well, what I learned,
yeah,
aside from stretching, was how much peace I had immediately after a session.
Right.
Nobody can call me. You can't complain to me about anything. There will be no messages received.
Yeah.
I will not respond to
out.
anything. Maybe the traffic will irritate me on the way home a little bit. But other than that, they're absolutely peaceful.
Right.
And that was my favorite benefit that I noticed was, I guess, just a lot calmer in a sense, and just peaceful.
Absolutely.
And I loved that about yoga. So I said, okay, I thought I came in here for a little stretch, but it is the benefits that I get after, just the peace that I feel, the breathing,
yes,
which for me has helped tremendously in just whatever I'm doing, just to calm myself down, whatever it might be, just incorporating those breathing techniques.
100%, yeah.
So important.
Yeah, sounds like you need to be signing yourselves up for our yoga group.
I might be able to be there and lead a little bit. I don't know about that.
But I think you raise a really good point. Even if you come into these groups and you might have certain things that you're wanting to address, certain issues that you wanted to kind of hoping that these group activities will help you tackle.
Yeah.
Even if that doesn't happen, but you leave the group better than when you came in. You leave the group feeling more relaxed and at peace.
Yeah.
Surely that's a bonus.
Absolutely is a bonus, because you're going to want more of that. Who doesn't want peace in their life,
right?
Pretty sure we all want, we want peace
more.
in our life.
I'll take some more.
So that is one of the elements that you'll be kind of showing at the open house that day.
Yeah, so how it works is the open house itself runs from 3 p.m. till 7 p.m.
Okay.
So anyone can drop in any time.
This will be at the Counselling Centre.
This is at the Counselling Centre, which is Adonis House, 75 Fort Street.
Okay.
And all our therapists will be there, and we'll have booths set up to give information about all our different groups.
Okay.
Earlier in the day, from about 11 o'clock onwards, we're actually running sample groups. We have a yoga group running, we'll have an art group running, and we'll have the sound therapy group running. Those three. Okay. And if you would like to register for a place on those, just to sample, it's a little 45-minute session. So you get to just kind of see what it's like. You just need to email counselling.services@gov.ky, and we'll put you on the list.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to go deeper into it. Not as deep as when we first introed this segment.
People finish their breakfast.
We're going to go. We're going to return to our conversation about World Mental Health Day and our conversation with Jason Dunkley from the Counselling Centre.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
When it comes to keeping the office spotless, we rely on JGP Janitorial. With over 20 years of experience in office and business cleaning, they understand what it takes to maintain a professional environment.
Reliable, efficient, and priced right. GJP Janitorial is the smart choice for any business. For a free quote, call GJP Janitorial 548-1221. GJP Janitorial. Lose the mop. They'll clean the slop. That's 548-1221. Keep your business shining.
We are now in the hurricane season, and to survive a hurricane, you need to be informed. If you have been informed by official sources that a hurricane is approaching the Cayman Islands, and you live in a low-lying area that is prone to flooding or near the beaches, which may be swept by high tides or storm waves, please seek a safe place and high ground. If the only way for you to get to a safe place is a road that is also likely to be flooded during a storm, please leave home early. Don't run the risk of being stranded. This has been a public service announcement from your community station, Radio Cayman.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and in studio I have with me Jason Dunkley, Clinical Supervisor with the Counselling Centre. We are talking about World Mental Health Day, which is October 10th, and the event that the Counselling Centre is putting on, which is going to be October 9th. They're located on Fort Street. Did you see Adonis House on Fort Street?
Yeah.
Yes, all right. And they're going to be having a series of different little workshops, I guess we could call them.
Yep.
And you were telling me some of that includes what is considered group therapy, which could be the yoga sessions, the art sessions, the sound healing. You'll be able to talk to the different counselors that are there. Anything else people can look forward to on that day?
You might be able to pick up a nice hot patty or two. There'll be some snacks and refreshments. But no, it's just an opportunity to see our new, we've recently moved premises.
Okay.
So we've got a nice new location. So you get to have a look around there, so you would know what you're walking into. And you'd also get to get some information about the other agencies that make up the Department of Counselling Services as well.
Okay.
So, as I said, we're the Counselling Centre. In addition to us, there is the Family Resource Centre and Caribbean Haven. So you'll be able to get information about those two resources also.
Okay, excellent. So as a theme, it's time to prioritize mental health in the workplace. Why are we going with that with the workplace? Are we seeing rising trends here? People getting more frustrated at work? Do we want to all work from home again?
Yeah, right. I do not want to work from home again.
I do.
I don't know about rising themes. I just think that it's something we're becoming much more aware of. And one of the things we've been kicking off our talks this week is that idea of work-life balance, which is why managing our mental health at work is so important. Because if you think about, if we're lucky enough to be working full time, by the time you get home and by the time you go to bed, the majority of your life is spent at work.
Yes.
Right. Which is
unfortunate.
Yeah, it can be quite a challenging thought, which is why it's so important to think, okay, well, if my mental health isn't being managed well at work, the actual small fraction of time I do have at home with my loved ones and my family is going to be negatively impacted. So our managers, ourselves as colleagues and peers, we have a huge responsibility to help look after each other's well-being and mental health in the workplace.
What are the most common problems, I guess you could say, that are out there in the workplace when it comes to mental health and trying to figure it out? So
I think just to generalize it, is just the different forms of stress that people experience at work. As you know, throughout the workday, you're going to have X amount of different stresses. And it's thinking about how do we manage those. And one of the conversations we've been having and trying to encourage people to do is thinking about the idea of control at work. Because a lot of the times when we're working, we're being told what to do, right? We've got, okay, Jay, I need this done by the end of the week or this done by the end of the quarter. And if anyone who's ever been micromanaged, you kind of understand that, well, if someone's telling me how to do something all the time and I don't have any control, that's actually quite frustrating and stressful and demoralizing. Yeah, and all these negative emotions that come with it. So if we're not self-employed, fact of the matter is we are going to have to take orders. Someone is always going to be telling us what to do.
Right.
What we can do to help balance it out a little bit and help improve our mental health at work is really try and take ownership and some autonomy over the how. So I might not have that much control over the what, but let me claim some control over the how. And just having that increased level of control will reduce the stress and anxiety. It won't make it disappear, but just being aware that, okay, well, I can experiment and do this a way I think I want to be able to do it, in the way I think will be helpful. Just having that kind of ownership and emotional investment in your task and in your work is going to improve how you show up.
What if you don't even have the flexibility to determine the how?
Right. So if we're in that position, I'm sure there are a lot of jobs where this is the way it's done and there isn't really another way to do it. Then we're really thinking about what kind of supports we have at work. So we need to think about how are we using and forming relationships? How are we using those relationships appropriately? So it's thinking about who are the people that I can talk to, and it's not about, you know, talking and venting, but just having some downtime with. And it's taking some mental breaks from work, in that where work is stressful and you don't have much control, where are the moments where I can actually get, we mentioned earlier, getting some peace? Where are the moments where I can just get a little bit of peace and pause? And it comes back to being mindful at work. And we've been giving people some tools on how throughout the day you can take tens of tiny little mini breaks just to re-energize, just by being mindful. So each time you leave your desk and you walk to the water cooler, you know, a lot of the times when we're doing that, while we're taking that walk, we're thinking about, I need to send this email, I need to make sure this thing is done when I get back, or I need to talk to so-and-so. So you're not actually stopped working, right? So it's about, okay, well, when I'm walking, I'm just going to walk. Yeah, maybe even just count your steps, because you're giving yourself a little pause, a little mini break. When you're taking a drink, just take a drink. Experience the drink. What does the cup, what does the glass feel like? What does the drink feel like in my mouth, right? When I'm stopping for lunch, eat mindfully, which is something that's actually very difficult. Right?
I don't even know what that means.
I know, right? But I would challenge you to do it today with your next snack.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just eat mindfully. Just put your food in your mouth and pause. Put everything else down and taste. Chew. What does it feel like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? Right? And it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about all these mini breaks we can have throughout the day, all those little opportunities for respite, you know, even if the job is something you don't have any control over, and you don't have any control over how you do it, and maybe it's a job that you don't love, right? But we can still get these little breaks, and we're not clock watching, just waiting for 5 o'clock to come around and get out of here. Yeah. And in these little moments where we get to pause and be mindful, we can choose how we're going to turn up when we come back to the task. Yeah, we can be attuned to ourselves. We can notice, okay, I've had a little break, and actually now that I've paused, I'm feeling a little antsy, a little frustrated, right? But I'm aware of that now. So now that I'm aware of it, I can make sure that doesn't influence my behavior, right? So I'm not snapping at the next person who talks to me. Yeah, I'm not grumbling and complaining to the next person who walks through the door. I can, okay, Jay, I'm a little frustrated and a little angry, so I just need to be mindful of how I'm talking right now. Yeah. So it's about choosing your mood and choosing how you turn up in the next moment.
Interesting, because I feel like if I'm in that mood, I'm going to let you know I'm in that mood.
Right.
And Jason, you better be careful how you handle me in that mood. I just gave you the warning.
Right.
But that's not putting the onus on myself, where I more so need to be, because I would have to be more in control of my reactions to everything, instead of, hey, this is how I feel, I'm letting you know.
Right.
Important to communicate that too.
Yes, I'm going to say in some instances that's absolutely fine, and if it's appropriate, you know, the other person you're talking to, if it's appropriate to talk like that,
yeah,
and you know, you have that kind of relationship, that's great.
Yeah,
and take that opportunity. But if it's just a random customer that's coming through the door, not so cool.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
In the times that you might not be able to take that little break, those little breaks throughout the day, and you have to deal with something that's happening right in front of you, real time, and the anger or frustration can be mounting, and a whole bunch of things might come out of your mouth or your body. You just might start reacting in a different way.
Yeah.
Is there any tools or techniques that you could advise to people to ground yourself again?
Yeah. There's a couple of things. I think the most important is something we've mentioned a couple of times already, and for me it's the most fundamental foundational thing, and it's breathing.
What is it about the breath?
So what we're doing when we're breathing is we are bringing the smart part of our brain, the front part of our brain, back online. Because when we're stressed or experiencing any kind of high level of emotion, the emotional part of our brain is called the amygdala, kind of takes over, starts running things. So we stop thinking straight. We literally stop thinking straight. Yeah, and we're just letting emotions run things. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So to get that online, we need to tell our bodies, okay, there's no emergency, there's no major threat. We're going to live. Okay, we're going to be okay. Everything, you are safe. So we need to remind our body that we're safe. And by doing that, the biggest cue to tell our body that it's safe is by slowing down the heart rate. Okay. To slow down the heart rate, we slow down our breath. And as soon as we do that, it brings all the smart parts of our brains that separate us from the beasts, brings all that back online. And we'll actually start to make rational decisions. Yeah. If we don't, so if you think about all the times where you said something you regretted or done something maybe you shouldn't have done, right? Which I'm sure has never happened. Imagine you
all
have
the
a friend,
time.
right?
I say what most people are thinking. So that's just me.
But more often than not, that's when we're in a state where that smart part of our brain, prefrontal cortex, is actually offline.
Is offline?
Yeah. So it's...
Mine is in a whole different lane.
Have you ever been...
What do you mean by that?
Have you ever been so angry or seen someone so angry that they can't get their words out?
Yes.
Right? So that's a really good example of that front part of the brain is shut down. The part of the brain that's actually in charge of language isn't working as well.
What if you're so good at delivering your words when you're angry that it's like a 9 coming out of your mouth?
Then you need to maybe avoid those kinds of people.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, it is literal. You know, if you can imagine looking at a brain scan and see different parts of your brain lighting up. When there's a threat, the amygdala takes over, just to try and keep us alive, and the front part shuts down. So all our executive functioning kind of really decreases and shuts down. The bit that makes us make good decisions.
Interesting. Okay, so the technique that you're suggesting definitely is breathing.
Right.
Is there any sort of any kind of breathing? Because I know, back in the day we would always hear, okay, count to 10 kind of thing. We would have a little counting thing going on in our head. But the breathing, is there a certain technique that you would?
There's lots of different techniques. The underlying theme, when we come in to calm ourselves down, is to exhale more than you inhale. Okay. That's what's going to calm us down. So I always use the numbers 2, 2, 4. So where you breathe in for 2, hold for 2, and breathe out for 4.
Okay.
Do you want to try?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'll count.
Okay.
Ready? In. 2. Hold. 2. Out. 2. 3. 4. Again. In. 2. Hold. 2. Out. 2. 3. 4. I'm just pausing and doing a couple of rounds of that.
And does it matter if it's through the mouth or nose, or
Not
because mine was
massively.
straight nose? So okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. And then there was a little bit of okay,
Right.
yeah, I feel it. You can even hear it in both of our voices. Actually, we
It just
a
takes
little bit more gentle in the
takes
voice.
the tone down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it slows everything down.
Interesting. All right. So that is one good technique to use if we are feeling very frustrated, very angry. We might say a whole bunch of things we can't even get out of our mouth, or that's going to be a little
So
too...
before you send that email, do your breaths and then send the email.
I think I'd have to say I've learned that, although sometimes I'm just going to send that email. I want you to get this email in this very tone right now.
Yeah.
But I've also learned to step back and go back the next day.
Yeah, send it
and
tomorrow.
that's been a big challenge, but it's absolutely it's helped me tremendously. So kind of relearning how to do certain things that you would maybe normally react to.
Yeah. And that goes back to exactly what we're saying about when you come back the next day, you're much more able to make rational choices.
Right. We got to go to our next commercial break. And when we
Okay.
come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about prioritizing mental health in the workplace.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Centre.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future,
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance,
or protecting your family's household investment.
from our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Centre.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Centre.
Call today.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Radio Cayman News.
An increase in shower activity is expected for the Cayman Islands.
If you are living in a flood-prone area, please ensure you prepare accordingly.
Is a flood advisory due to the potential impact of a developing weather system.
We continue to monitor the situation closely.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Annually, the Family Resource Centre leads the anti-bullying campaign Stood Up throughout the month of October.
This year, the campaign's theme is #CyberKindnessKY. Pause before you post, and is aimed at raising awareness of the harmful impact of cyberbullying behavior and educating children on responding safely and empowering parents with effective parenting strategies to intervene against cyberbullying and victimization. Teens ages 15 to 18 years old and parents are invited to the Teen and Parent Safety Training being held on October 12th from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Stay informed and keep young people safe. Registration is required. Email frc@gov.ky for more details on this and their other Stood Up campaign details.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and in studio this morning we have Jason Dunkley, Clinical Supervisor with the Counselling Centre. We're talking about prioritizing mental health in the workplace, and right before the break, Jason gave us a couple tips on how you can calm yourself down if you're feeling some frustration, a little bit of anger, a little explosive, some of the techniques that you can use right then and there to be able to ground yourself once again. So thanks for sharing that with us, Jason. When it comes to the different types of stress, because I know you said there's stresses are kind of big indicator there with our how we're feeling mentally. What I guess the different. I used to not believe in stress at all. Just want you to know that.
Yeah, okay.
Now I'm like
controversial.
Yes, it's a little different now, but I feel like I still don't have a lot of what people might attribute as stress. When it, like for family example, I feel like I don't really have that, so that's not a stressful thing for me.
Okay.
But when it comes to different stress that people are dealing with, what would that be? How do we recognize that?
Yeah, so what we've been talking about is how we can kind of categorize stress. And one thing that's really important and almost a little counterintuitive is recognizing the fact that stress is necessary. Stress is important, right? If we didn't need it, if it didn't serve us, then we would have got rid of it via evolution millions of years ago.
I don't think I ever heard anybody say stress is necessary.
Stress makes us do things. Stress makes us go forward. Stress is our body telling us, okay, we need to take immediate action on this thing.
But can't other things make us move forward aside from stress? Motivation, ambition.
I suppose motivation and stress are kind of two ways of talking about a very similar thing. So in terms of what stress is doing, it's giving us, biologically, it's giving us the chemicals to move and go forward and address the task. Okay, and on some instances, a lot of instances, that can be very important and very helpful. So say, for example, I have to turn up in the morning and do a radio show with someone I've never met before by myself and have a whole conversation. Okay, that might make me a little bit stressful.
Were you stressed?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit, but I'm not now.
Right.
Okay. But that stress has a very positive effect because it made me alert. Okay, it made me, I need to make sure I turn up on time. Okay, maybe get my house in order, literally. Yeah, it made me get prepared, maybe turn up and, kind of get my game face on and get in the right zone. Okay, that's what that stress motivated me to address what needed to be addressed. Okay, so that was positive.
Okay.
So in those instances, say you've got like a short deadline or a certain project that needs to be done, okay, and it's stressful. If you weren't stressed, a lot of the times many things wouldn't get done. Yeah, if we didn't have that stress to kick us in the butt and make us go forward, right? Sometimes it kind of goes over the line, okay, and it might go on for a little bit longer than we would like, right? However, that can be tolerable as long as we have the support around us to help us manage that stress, and we are aware of the tools we can use personally to help manage that stress. So it's like, okay, well, I know this is going to be a really stressful couple of weeks while we do this project, but I'm going to make sure at the weekend I'm just going to down tools and I'm going to make sure I get to the beach and I'm going to hang out with my kids, doing all the things that I know help relieve my stress so I can start again on Monday.
Okay.
And having the right people around me when I'm at work to help kind of keep me grounded and make sure I've got someone to kind of talk to about whatever stress I'm experiencing. Okay, tolerable stress. So we've got positive stress and we've got a little bit more uncomfortable but tolerable stress. The next up from that is where things get a bit more harmful. So stress where it can actually be toxic, where, okay, I'm experiencing whatever stressor, XYZ stressor, it could be anything, right? And while I'm experiencing this stress, I don't have the people around me to help me manage it. No one's helping me, right? And B, I can't help myself either. I don't know what to do to help make myself feel better, right? So now this stress, where the intention of it was to be positive and help me, it's gone on for a bit too longer. It's actually become intolerable, and now it's actually physically making me sick now. Because as you know, stress-related illness is absolutely a thing, right? So it will physically make you ill if there's no one to help you manage it and you don't know how to manage it yourself. So what we've been talking about is really helping people recognize, firstly, not to run away from stress, but learn to manage it, because it's never going to go away because we need it, or else we won't get anything done. But it's helping recognize, okay, well, this is tolerable, but I need to watch this because it could go the other way. So what do I need to do to kind of bring this down a couple of notches? Or just being in the moment, saying, okay, right now, today is a stressful day because I've got a lot to do. Let's just do this, and so let's make the stress a positive thing and make me go forward.
Okay, it's interesting because I like a lot of pressure.
Right.
When it comes to deadlines, I'm definitely that classic person. Let me leave it to the very last minute.
Right.
Because there's some thrill or excitement in the sense of me hyper focusing and getting it done, and it's amazing. And boom, I meet that deadline. And I'm like, ha.
Right. So that's a great example. Then in what you've done, you've simply reframed stress. Okay. So you're experiencing the same thing. Right, so let's say, for example, you and I have the same deadline, right? And I'm like, oh my God, no way, this is horrible. I feel so bad about this. I'm never going to do it. And you're like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. I'm ready. Boom, 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 boom. We're both experiencing the same thing, but you've framed it in a different way. Yeah, and I framed it as this really negative, horrible feeling, but you've given it a helpful label. But it's the same emotion that we're experiencing. So a lot of it is how we perceive it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's physiologically, it's actually the same.
Okay. When our stress is getting a little too much in the workplace, and it might be affecting our colleagues, whatnot, what can we as the individual experiencing stress do to kind of help ground ourselves again? Yeah. And then what can the colleague do if they're recognizing that in their coworker?
Okay, so I think starting off with the colleague side of things, it's being comfortable to have that conversation with your colleague and say, well, I've noticed you're starting to get a bit stressed now, you're getting a bit off your game. You're doing that thing that you do when you're getting a bit stressed, right? Because sometimes I myself might not even see it in myself because I'm so caught up in the thing. Yeah, so for someone to objectively say, well, Jay, I think you might need to take a minute, dude. Yeah. What do we do once we actually recognize, or someone's helped us recognize it? There's lots of things we can do. And, I can't sit here right now and say, okay, when you're stressed, do X, Y, and Z. So, for example, this is the first time we've met. I don't know the things you do to relieve your own stress, right? Name one apart from yoga. Give me something.
I'm like, there's big silence right there.
Give me something.
One other thing I do, so I like to play sports, for example.
Okay, I like to play sports.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to whatever it is we want to do, so let's say whatever your sport is, we need to think about, okay, when was the last time I did that thing, right? Because a lot of the time we think about those activities and we might consider them luxuries, things that we do in our spare time, or little hobbies. And we don't realise actually, so for me, playing my guitar or going snorkeling, right?
Okay.
Those things, or kayaking of late, I'm getting into kayaking. I found that those things really help my mental health.
Okay.
Right? And they really help me start my day off. If I don't do it for any of those things first thing in the morning, I know I'm off.
Nice.
Something feels off, right? So it's realizing that those things, they sound like nice things to do, and they are, but they're not luxuries, they're necessities. Yeah. So what we need to do is really prioritize those activities and make sure we get them in. There's a lot of times we're very good at prioritizing things from other people. So say your manager says, oh, I need to come see me at 1 o'clock today. Yeah, and then you get a message from a friend who says, "Can you come meet me for coffee at 1 o'clock today?" Which one are you going to do?
The manager.
You're going to meet the manager. You're going to prioritize them, right? Same with a dental appointment or an appointment at the bank. I've got to go and do these. These are really important, right? A lot of the times we don't give ourselves that same level of respect, right? So make an appointment for yourself, right? And it's okay. Well, you know what? This weekend I am doing pickleball, and that's concrete. Anyone else wants anything else, they're going to have to work around me on that.
Yeah.
Because it's essential that I do this. It's fun, yes, but it's also essential for my well-being. Yeah.
I think you hit a really key point when it's about doing things for yourself, because we often we don't intentionally mean to neglect ourselves, but we're when we put other things and people in front of us and our own needs, it's very easy to forget, oh, hold on, I'm supposed to be caring for myself here as a priority here, because the more at 100% that I am, that more I can kind of help you or give to you or put into whatever it is.
Yeah, but it almost feels a bit selfish, right? It feels a bit naughty.
I don't think so. I've never thought that.
No?
I've never thought that, because ever since I was even really, really young, I always thought you have to love yourself. You have to take care of yourself first and foremost so that you can be able to be whole enough is not the correct term, but in the sense of like,
I like that.
You have enough that you can pour into others.
Yes.
But it starts with you, and if you don't recognize that within yourself, then how can you with others? Now that hasn't always translated in my life.
Yeah, sounds great.
Right?
Yes.
Sometimes I've done very much the opposite, but then you go, I go, especially in this era of life, I'm like, okay, no, I need to pour into me right now, and everybody else can come next.
Right.
I don't care if that sounds selfish. It's me who I have to live with in that sense.
Right.
So I got to make sure I'm okay. But anyway, that's a bit of a segue. Well, I've got a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
And I want to ask, so there's situations that a coworker might be going through. So there could be a loss of a loved one. It could be illness within the family. It could be that, you know that your coworker is actually quite ill. It could be a huge job loss from a coworker's family that you know about that's really affecting them. Just a loss of some sort, or an illness in that sense, something that really heavily impacts a coworker. How do we support that person within the organization?
The most important thing you can do to begin with is to listen without judgment. So when someone comes to you with, this huge thing has happened at work or in my family life, a lot of the times if I were to come to you and say that, I'm not asking you to solve this problem. I'm not asking you to fix it. I just need to talk about it. So it might be that when a colleague comes to you and they disclose something like that, it's really important that they know that they're just being really heard and listened to. And we're not offering up solutions or options. We're just really reflecting back and letting them know that, I've heard you. And most importantly, you're letting them know that you understand the emotion that they're going through. So I might not have any experience about the issue that you're talking about, but I can see that you're really sad. Yeah, I can see that this is really upsetting you. And just to be seen and heard is a great first step. And once you've had that conversation, more likely that person is going to come back to you. And maybe that's when you can have the more solution-focused conversation around.
Because I was just going to ask, why do you suggest not to offer any solutions in that kind of first conversation?
Because in the outset, people are just looking to relieve stress and vent and let something out. So honestly, the best thing we can do is actually quietly agree with whatever they're saying, even if in the back of our mind we kind of disagree.
Okay.
It's like right now, he's not coming to me for a debate. They're just coming to me to get this emotion out. So we agree and we let them feel heard. Later on down the line, it might be that, well, Kath, that thing you were saying about the manager the other day, I think you might have forgot there's this part as well that you didn't quite look at. And a day's passed now, you've slept on, you think, actually, maybe there's something in there, right? But prior to that, it wasn't the time for us to have that conversation. You weren't ready to hear that, right? Later on, when we've come back to making some rational decisions, so you can't see me pointing to the front of my head on the radio.
Well, you can on the YouTube stream.
Right, cool. Right. Yeah, a day or two later, when you're able to make some more rational decisions and choices, that's the time to have that conversation about, okay, what are we going to do? How can I actually help?
Okay. That's great advice. Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
We got to close the show, so if there's any kind of lasting thoughts you'd like to leave with our listeners, please take the time.
Please come and check us out at the Counselling Centre on Wednesday, October the 9th. Doors are open 3 till 7. If you want to try our groups, then email us on counselling.services@gov.ky.
Okay, awesome. Great to have you in this morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully we'll speak with you in the future again soon.
I look forward to it.
Okay. Everybody have a great Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in to The Business Buzz.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Centre, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And by JGP Janitorial, lose the mop, they'll clean the slop. JGP Janitorial, 548-1221.
We are Radio Cayman, covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman. One